All right, Morning Manna, I got to tell you, this is one of the things I really look forward to. I'm so grateful when I get the opportunity to take this little devotional moment with you as we are getting ready to have our devotions, not necessarily together, but in your time when you watch this. So I want to talk to you about a story. I'm going to take the next 6 days and I'm going to go to 2 Kings chapter 5. If you want to, you could pause me right now. And I don't know that you got to read all of 2 Kings 5, but if you read the first 5 verses of 2 Kings 5, that will introduce you to the story of Naaman. So go ahead, pause me, read those verses. All right, you're back. Well, as you know, the story of Naaman, we probably all know this. I'll give you the story quickly, but then I'll tell you what I want to tell you for today. The story of Naaman is the story of a general, a commander of the army of the Arameans, and they're enemies traditionally of Israel, and he's a great leader. The first couple verses tell us that he's had this great victory, and so he's highly favored, but he's got leprosy. It's a skin disease, incurable at that time, and eating away infectious skin disease. And so obviously he's concerned for his life. He's got to separate from other people. And yet in his household, there is this girl. She's a servant girl from Israel. Scripture even tells us that she's taken away by raiders and she lives in his household. And I got to tell you, there are so many angles. We're going to talk about a number of different characters over the next several days. There are so many different people in this story. Elisha is the guy who, quote unquote, performs the miracle. And obviously, we're hearing the story. It's named after Naaman. But I got to tell you, I think this whole story is about this girl. About this girl who's been taken away from her country. She has been subjected to being a servant, and yet she's got bright, hot faith in God, because she's the one who says, if my master will just go and find the prophet, God will heal him. And you look at that and you go, what a crazy tale. The Arameans are traditionally enemies of Israel, and yet we know that Naaman gets healed in the midst of this story. And I think it all comes from one girl's faith, that she's willing to say, my God is not restrained in the reach of his hand. And so we'll hear a whole bunch of things over the next couple days, but I want you to recognize that it's her faith that starts this whole thing in motion. You don't have to be special. You don't have to know a lot. You don't have to be in an exalted place. You don't have to be important. The question is, do you believe that God can, that God will move? I hope today where you're sitting there, Manna Church, you're prepared to reach out to God with crazy faith, believing that he'll move. And we will see that he does. God bless you. See you tomorrow.